Now that Penn State has fired James Franklin, will Matt Rhule leave Nebraska to go coach his alma mater? He did not exactly say no recently. Let's talk it out. Locked On Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman. 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer. I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, hit that subscribe button. It's free. That way you'll never miss a single episode. And if you could share, like, and follow, that would be great. And did you know you can hype YouTube videos? Thank you for your help there. So on today's show, I want to talk about Matt Rhule and whether he wants the Penn State job. We'll have some more Big Ten news. We got our Big Ten players of the week. And then we'll have our weekly power rankings, 1 through 18, some movers and shakers. Where's your favorite team at? We'll get to all of that in due time. But Matt Rhule, he says he loves coaching at Nebraska, but he did not exactly shut down the question about whether he would want to replace fired Penn State coach James Franklin next year. Rhule, in case you didn't know, was a walk-on linebacker in the 1990s for Joe Paterno. He's good friends with Nittany Lions athletic director Pat Kraft, and he also met his wife at Penn State. He's got a lot of ties there. He also has ties to the state of Pennsylvania. Remember, he was the Temple football coach once upon a time. And after stints as the head coach at Baylor and with the Carolina Panthers, Rhule then came to Nebraska when he was hired by then athletic director Trev Alberts in December of 2022. Trev Alberts obviously is no longer there. Since then, Rhule has posted a 17-14 record. Each year, he's made modest but positive improvements on each year. Of course, he ended Nebraska's long bowl drought last season after getting 5-star Georgia quarterback commit Dylan Ryle to flip from Georgia and come to Lincoln. So the upward trend continues. And it's taking a bit of a jump right now this year. Things are looking pretty good at Nebraska. And the goal is to get to that upper rung we always talk about in the Big Ten. They're sitting at 5-1 right now. Their only loss was the home loss to Michigan. And they just cracked the AP Top 25. So things are going pretty well there at Nebraska. And obviously they all, Nebraska fans, Nebraska boosters, Nebraska players, Matt Rhule, they all want to get higher. I mean, Nebraska's got a strong, rich history from back in the day. They want to match that again. They want to bring the magic back, but they're not there yet. Although, like I said, going in the right direction, slowly but surely. But when asked about speculation that he could be up for the sudden Penn State vacancy, Rhule said that he loved working and living in Nebraska. And he reiterated he's trying to return the Huskers to the top of the college football pyramid and have them return to the glory days like we just talked about. For the record, that's a nice answer. But it did nothing to tap down the thought that he'd leave Nebraska for the Penn State job if he was offered that. He said, this place is elite, meaning Nebraska. And he said, I want to be a great father and I want to be a great football coach. So I'm not going to talk about a lot of the job openings that are going on as they come. I thought that was kind of a weird quote. That was the direct answer to the question. I want to be a good dad, a good coach, but I'm not going to talk about job openings. Okay. All right. Fair. It's not exactly a denial of interest, is it? Look, Rhule's 50 years old. He's got all the money in the world already, and he still has a lot of time in front of him to coach football, wherever he wants, by the way. He's going to make $7.5 million this year, and he's under contract at Nebraska through 2030. If he were to resign before January 1st, his new employer would owe a $5 million buyout. Kind of money we're throwing around these days, that really doesn't seem like a whole lot. Eventually, Rhule had this to say about Penn State. He rambled on about how much he loved Penn State, loved that place, loved AD Pat Kraft. He loves James Franklin and says it's very sad to see that whole thing come to an end. He says he wishes him the absolute best. And then he said, I'm happy to be here at Nebraska. Okay. I mean, that's something. I mean, Huskers, are you happy with that answer? I don't know. It wasn't like No, I'm not interested in the Penn State job. That time is passing by. I'm here at Nebraska. I'm all in at Nebraska. I'm going to be here at Nebraska as long as they want me here. He did not say those things. So I thought that was interesting. I thought it was worth mentioning at this point. So, I mean, if you were to flip the script, let's look at it from the other side and look at it from Penn State's perspective. I personally, as I'm sitting here, I'm not sure that they would hire Rhule unless their AD really wanted to bring his buddy over. And that happens, by the way. But I don't know that they would hire him unless he got really hot right now at Nebraska, like into the playoffs hot. Maybe even won a game. I mean, after all, isn't that exactly what James Franklin did last year? He got him into the 12-team playoffs, won a game, ultimately got fired, though, for not winning big games. So while Matt Rhule, he's trending upward at Nebraska each and every year, he hasn't exactly won a lot of big marquee games yet at this point either. In fact, he's still continuing a little bit of a trend of losing one-score games. So I don't think hiring him would appease the Penn State booster at this time, the Penn State fan, where they're at right now and what they just got rid of. I don't know. As much as I like Matt Rhule and I like him at Nebraska, I don't know that that's the move I'd throw all my money at and make that move right now at Penn State. I think they have to go hunting for bigger game, to be honest with you. So, the question has always been at Penn State, if you fire Franklin, which they did, who are you going to get that would be better than him? There's only 3 active coaches in college football that have won national championships. Right? Because that's the goal here. James Franklin got Penn State up to this level, and you got to get to this level, up higher. You got to get a guy that can bring you a championship. Dabo Swinney, Kirby Smart, and now Ryan Day are the only active football coaches that have won national championships. So, I mean, the other winners that are out there, I mean, Nick Saban just retired. Urban Meyer's always out there. I presume that Penn State will make a phone call to those guys, but that'll be a short phone call, I think. That's as far as it'll go. There's another interesting name out there, by the way, and he's won a title, and he's still relatively young. In fact, he just turned 60, and that's Jimbo Fisher. He won a title at Florida State. Then he got a huge buyout when he was fired by Texas A&M. Much bigger than James Franklin's buyout, by the way. And he's from nearby West Virginia. So, again, relatively young at just 60. He said recently he wants to coach again. He's put his name out there. He wants to coach next year. So, he's been out of the game since 2023, and he's available, and he's got the resume. I'm just throwing that out there right now. And, again, I don't know that Matt Rhule is that guy. So, as far as Matt Rhule and Nebraska goes, let's not overlook the fact, Huskers fan, that you're sitting at 5-1 right now with a top 25 ranking. That's a good thing. Should hold on to that and build on to that. Now, they got a Friday night tilt at Minnesota. That's followed by a home date against Northwestern, a team that just knocked off Penn State, ironically, and cost James Franklin his job. But there's a good chance that Nebraska could be 7-1 going into that blackout under the lights at home against a ranked USC team. That's a big game. You talk about winning big games? Go win that game. That'll get some people's attention. That could get you to the next rung up in the Big Ten. Then Nebraska travels to UCLA. Again, I don't know what kind of UCLA team they're going to face. The one that beat Penn State, the one that traveled to Michigan State and won. I don't know. I can't predict these things anymore, although I will on Friday's show tomorrow, Pigskin Picks. So we'll see. And then Nebraska travels to Penn State. That's a big one too. That'll be interesting. That will be interesting. 6 days later, they close out by hosting against Iowa, and then job hunting season begins for coaches with or without jobs. Anyway, hit me up with your comments. I want to hear from Nebraska fan. What did you think about those Matt Rhule comments and how he massaged that situation this week? And if you're a Penn State fan, who you got your eye on to go? I heard today maybe they're going to call Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. Who knows how this is going to play out. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Hit me up in the comment section. And hit that free subscribe button down below. That way you'll never miss an episode. And share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, because that helps us too. I know if you're watching, you're a Big Ten fan. If you're listening, you're a Big Ten fan. That means you know other Big Ten people that may not know we're out here every day. Would love you to spread the word here and share this podcast with them. We also have a website, talkbig10.com. That's the number 10. And all of our podcasts go there. If you missed yesterday's, go check it out. There's also links for you to buy merchandise from your favorite Big Ten team. You want a Nebraska shirt, maybe a hat, a pennant, Penn State. It's all there. Christmas is coming. Check it out at talkbig10.com. All right. So we got the players of the week. I want to highlight those. I do that each and every week because I think it's important and it's fun. And we'll get that going. Plus, the Badgers, more bad news for them. I think that might be the next coach in trouble. They're losing recruits now in addition to losing football games. And in addition to our power rankings 1 through 18, I may also throw in a little preseason AP basketball poll. A lot of Big Ten teams sprinkled in there. We got all that coming up. It's right here in a minute on Locked On Big Ten. Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. They follow what moves them every time they drive. And that's what makes Mazda stand out. They go beyond safety, style, and performance, although they have all that, to deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. Yeah, they got the safety awards, the attention to detail, the stitching, the craft, the leather, the metallic accents. It's all right there. So whether you're just going for a quick drive to the grocery store or maybe a weekend trip, being in a Mazda, it just makes every day, every drive feel special. It's the small details that make the big plays. And just like there's more to every player of the teams we root for, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. So Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with a brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, cross-training, got your favorite instructors in there. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan and stay motivated and reach peak performance. Again, the real-time strength training, it actually tracks your reps and suggests the right weights to use. That's a big question mark for a lot of people. And it corrects your form. It makes every rep safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. That's spell it out, O-N-E, onepeloton.com. Thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten and making us your first listen each and every day. We are here every single day, and we go live on weekends. I'll tell you what we're up to this weekend, but especially you everydayers out there, thank you very much. And don't forget to check out our website, talkbig10.com. All right, more bad news for Wisconsin. I mean, the wheels have fallen off this program, and now they've lost to Iowa 37-0 at home, and they got number 1 Ohio State coming in. That's not a good recipe. And obviously there are a lot of rumors and hot seat stuff about Luke Fickell. Now he's losing recruits. So you got the fan base that's upset. Camp Randall's not rocking during jump around anymore. I mean, they're still doing it, but the enthusiasm's gone. The fire Fickell chants, it's bad. There's some empty seats in there. Now they're losing recruits. And one of them they lost is interesting because he was going to be a nice piece to what they wanted to do moving forward. It's 3-star wide receiver Tayshawn Bardo decommitted this week. He had been committed since March. You may remember, we talked about this a lot on this podcast. They were excited. They recruited 3 receivers that they're going to bring in together, and they were going to be the trio. It's going to be a big deal. They're going to focus the offense on these guys. That also included 4-star wide receivers Jaden Pettit and Zion Legree, who are still committed as of now. But again, the plan was to highlight all these guys together, and now one of them has decommitted. So things not going well there at Wisconsin. All right, it's time for us to focus our Big Ten players of the week in football. The offensive player of the week, who else? Damon Williams Jr., the quarterback at Washington, on Friday now against Rutgers. You know, people on the East Coast might not have seen this. It was a later game, West Coast, Friday night. He was remarkable. He was 21 of 27 through the air for 402 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, no interceptions. He also had 13 carries for 136 yards and 2 more scores against Rutgers. So I'm doing math here. That's 538 yards, just him, and 4 touchdowns, 2 in the air and 2 on the ground. Became the first Husky ever and just the 16th player in NCAA FBS history to pass for 400 yards and run for 100 yards in the same game. Incredible. Broke the Washington single-game record for total offense with the 538, breaking the mark of 529 set by Michael Penix Jr., by the way, versus Arizona in 2022. And his 138 rushing yards were the fourth most in Washington history by a quarterback and helped lead the Huskies to a come-from-behind 38-19 win over Rutgers. Absolutely phenomenal. On the defensive side of the ball, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, that goes to Aiden Fisher at Indiana. Had a game-high 13 tackles, a career-best 1.5 sacks, and helped Indiana to its first-ever top-5 road win ever at Oregon. He anchored that defense against Oregon, held Oregon to its fewest yards of total offense under Dan Lanning, and the fewest yards since 2021, which was the Utah game back in 2021. His 1.5 sacks in the game, more than the Ducks had allowed in its first 5 games, part of a 6-sack game for the Hoosiers, the most allowed by Oregon since 2024 and a college football playoff against Ohio State. He also had a solo sack in the second quarter with Oregon in the red zone, forced a field goal try. He was incredible. Indiana, all the guys, including him, their linebackers, the best tacklers in the Big Ten. They wrap you up on contact. No arm tackles, no goofiness, nothing like that. Special teams player of the week, Jack Olson, Northwestern, their kicker, was a perfect 3 for 3 on field goal attempts as Northwestern defeated Penn State 22-21 on the road, connected on field goals of 27, 34, and 41, with his longest of the day coming in the fourth quarter, the big kick, giving Northwestern the 16-14 lead that they had there. And the Wildcats got their first win at Penn State since 2014. So a phenomenal job under pressure there. And finally, our freshman of the week. Who else? The walk-on freshman from USC, King Miller from Calabasas, hit 158 yards rushing on 18 attempts at a touchdown to lead the Trojans to the 31-13 win over number 15 Michigan. Next man up, right? Guys were getting hurt. He got called the walk-on. Big game. And his 158 yards are believed to be the most by a USC walk-on since at least the early 1970s. I guess before that, they don't have records on it. So his 49-yard run with 12 minutes to go in the third quarter was the longest of the season, and later added a 47-yard run in the quarter. And he is the first ever USC freshman of the week in the Big Ten. All right, let me just sneak this in here real quick, because later on we're going to do our power rankings of all 18 Big Ten football teams. A lot of movement here this week. But the preseason AP Top 25 college basketball poll came out this week. Now, take it with a grain of salt, because the preseason AP poll, it doesn't have a great reputation right now, considering that going into football season, it had Texas number 1 and Penn State number 2. Now where are they? So take this for a grain of salt. But there's some pretty good teams in the mix here. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll highlight some Big Ten teams after we get through the top 5. But Purdue and Matt Painter, his team is number 1, preseason number 1. Houston comes in up number 2. The Florida Gators, coming off their championship, are number 3. UConn is 4. And St. John's at number 5. Rick Pitino hits that transfer portal hard, brings in experienced guys. They're sitting at number 5 preseason. We'll drop down a little bit, because now I'll just highlight the Big Ten teams that are remaining on the list. Michigan's Dusty May, his Michigan team, sitting at number 7. Mick Cronin brings in UCLA at number 12. Illinois is ranked 17th to start the season. Tom Izzo, he's 70 years old. Michigan State coming in at number 22, and Wisconsin. A lot brighter future for their basketball program than their football program. Wisconsin coming in at number 24. So there you have it. So quick math, 4, 5, 6 Big Ten teams in the top 24. All right, we'll take it. Pretty good. All right, now we're going to do our football power rankings. That's coming up next. Where's your team? We moved a lot of people around this week. Lots of stuff going on. Stay with us. That's in a minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. You know, the holidays, they're going to be here before you know it. We're inside. We're 2.5 months till Christmas, right? It's exciting, but you got to get your home ready for all those guests and celebrations. And maybe that could be a little overwhelming, but not with Wayfair. They make it easy. So maybe your serveware needs to be freshened up. Maybe the guest room comforter, the bedding needs to be freshened up before you put people in there. You don't be embarrassed. Wayfair has everything you need to get your home holiday ready, from Christmas trees to wreaths to bedding to cookware to outdoor inflatables. It's your one-stop shop for every room in the house. Wayfair makes it easy to personalize your home for the holidays with a huge selection for every style and every budget. And with free and easy delivery, even the big stuff, you can get everything you need without the hassle of huge delivery fees. My wife and I shop there all the time. They got the little perfect nook for this room, or I love their outdoor furniture as well. But you can get yourself organized and refreshed and ready for the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now and shop all things home. That's Wayfair, WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home at Wayfair. So when the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects. The parts can't get the work done. While their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. So if you need parts fast for a project, Supply House has that next day delivery. Talk about a game changer here. So join the free Trademaster program they have today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com and sign up for free and use the promo code SHColleges5, the number 5, SHColleges5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service, supplyhouse.com. Thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten. All right, at the end of our program every day, we always have features that you enjoy. I enjoy doing them as well. So Mondays, we do my top 10 Big Ten observations for the weekend. Tuesdays, we do Tuesday tweets. Wednesdays, we power rank stuff. And during football season, we do the standings as we see them. See if you agree or disagree. I'll do those in a moment. Tomorrow, we'll have our Big Ten Classics in live action. I believe the Big Ten Network has a doubleheader on Saturday. We'll talk about that as well. And then on Fridays, we go on the record and we make our pigskin picks. We're not afraid. We'll do that. All right, so let's take a look at our football power rankings. I will list them on screen if you're audio only on Spotify or Apple. We're just listing them. We'll start out 1 through 10 with the teams and the logos. Ohio State sitting at number 1. They're not moving. Had the convincing win at Illinois, 34-16. Julian Sayin continues to be steady at quarterback. I think each and every week, Ryan Day opens up the playbook a little bit more for the young quarterback. Got a lot of weapons to get the ball to. Meanwhile, moving up 1 to number 2, Indiana, the number 3 team in the country. That was an impressive win at Oregon. They've already beaten another top 10 team in Illinois. They got a road win at Iowa. They're putting together a resume. That was the knock on them last year. People questioned the resume. They've got the resume this year. Oregon, I'm only dropping them 1 from 2 to 3. This is still a great football team. Dan Lanning will bounce back from this. I have no doubt. They were rolling up until the IU game. They'll roll again. Our biggest mover, I believe it's our biggest mover, is, or at least moving up, is USC. USC. I got USC sitting here at number 4, up 3 spaces. That was a big win for Lincoln Riley over Michigan. King Miller, the walk-on, did a great job. They got Notre Dame next. We'll see how they do. I got Washington standing pat at number 5. Got teams moving around them. I think Washington's a top 5 team in the Big Ten. That was an impressive win over Rutgers. I can't talk enough about Damon Williams and that 538-yard game he had, 536. It was a lot. So he's rolling. At number 6, I've got Illinois, and they're holding at 6. They lost to Ohio State. I'm going to keep them right where they're at because I think they are better than the teams I have them above. Got number 7. I got Michigan. They actually dropped 3 spaces. They were kind of toying with that top 4, and they dropped back out after the 31-13 loss to USC. It was a measuring stick game, and they failed. They came up short in that one. I still think Michigan is a good football team, but maybe not as good as they hoped. We're still watching the improvement of Bryce Underwood. At number 8, I've got Nebraska. Moved them up 1. What a crazy win at Maryland. Dylan Raiola had 4 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. They got to get that dialed in. Got Iowa sitting at number 9 and moved them up 1. They came off the bye with the 37-0 win at Wisconsin. Mark Gronowski, who had the knee injury in Indiana, played. He's back. So he just missed the end of the Indiana game, had the bye and rested that knee up. No structural damage. And rounding out our top 10 is Maryland. I actually nudged them up 1, even though they had the losses to Washington and Nebraska, just moving other people around. I still think they're a decent team here. They're in our top 10, and I still like Malik Washington as their freshman quarterback. All right, let's see the best of the rest. We never say the worst, so we say the best of the rest because we root for everybody. Looky here at number 11, moving up 3 spots again after 4 spots the previous week. UCLA was in the basement when we started doing this at the beginning of the year. Got them just outside the top 10, sitting at number 11. Road win at Michigan State was impressive. Nico with another 3 touchdown passes, 38 unanswered points in that game. And beating Penn State. They host Maryland. So see how that game goes. Get another win and move them up some more into the top 10. Meanwhile, I got Northwestern sitting at number 12, jumping them up. You know what? Actually, they're the biggest movers this week. Not 3, it's 4. They moved them up 4. I moved them up 4. They're still improving. They beat Penn State. David Braun, it was a great win. I had to give them some love there. And pretty impressive. Now, I could have, you know what? I could have had them a little higher up because, UCLA, Northwestern, they played each other to a 3. I probably should have flipped those. Probably should have Northwestern 11, UCLA 12 because they did play recently. Penn State, big loser, dropping them another 5 spots this week to number 13. Not even in the top 10 of our Big Ten power rankings, a team that was number 2 preseason in the country. At number 13, the Oregon, the UCLA, the Northwestern loss. They were 20-point favorites at UCLA and at a home against Northwestern. They got at Iowa next. That's going to be tough. Ohio State and IU are still on the schedule. It could be some tough sledding for Penn State moving forward. I got Minnesota at number 14. Just dropped them 1 just because I was moving other people around. I know they won this week. Coy Parrish with the pick 6. They scored 14 points in like 7 seconds to flip that Purdue game late. That was impressive. Michigan State drops 3 after they had the loss to USC, then the loss to Nebraska, then the 38 unanswered points they gave up to UCLA. They're 0-3 in the Big Ten. Got to drop them. Jonathan Smith, that was a big setback last week, sitting at number 15. I got Rutgers sitting at 16, down 1. They lost to Washington last Friday. They were stopped 2 times inside the 10-yard line on 4th down. Otherwise, that game could have been even closer. They had the lead for a while in that game, too. Purdue blew that game to Minnesota. They remain the same at number 17, and I will keep Wisconsin at the bottom until further notice. And they're just a broken team. 37-0 loss to Iowa. Got Ohio State next, and then Oregon. It is tough for Luke Fickell. Anyway, what do you think about our list? 1 through 18. Did I get it right? I think I got it right. I think it's pretty accurate, to be honest with you. Let me know what you think about where your team is. In the meantime, we have the latest news, analysis, and opinion on that news every single day. We're out here with multiple podcasts here on Locked On Big Ten. Tell your friends about us because I know if you're a Big Ten fan, you know other Big Ten people. Let them know we're here. Hit that little share arrow and send this video their way. Or the audio podcast. Let them know we're out here on Apple and Spotify too. Hit that subscribe button too. That really helps us out as well. That way you're in the Big Ten Club with me each and every day. And we're on Twitter at TalkBig10 our website, TalkBig10 10.com. After you've done subscribe and watch another episode for a second listen as well. We're going to go live after the USC Notre Dame game. So around 11 o'clock Saturday, we're going live with the episode so I can get your reaction and you get mine right away. All right, so make a note of that. 11 o'clock Eastern-ish, 8 o'clock Pacific. Also, college football fans, Locked On and Fire TV presented the College Football Kickoff, hosted by Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12, plus 2-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, and Jesse Holly, former athlete, plus our Locked On experts, giving you all the expert and their previews to the upcoming games each and every week. It's the college football preview that only Locked On can do. Catch the College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. That'll do it for us. And let me know about those power rankings and what you think. We'll be back at it tomorrow. We'll have our Big Ten Classics, among other things as well. We'll preview the USC Notre Dame game a little more in depth as well. So all that's coming up. for this edition of Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman. We'll see you next time.